My name is Lori Stafford, and today I'm excited to share some assistive technology that you can use to support your EAL learners and everybody in your class, and also some assistive technology that you can use to differentiate your content. So I'm quite excited to share all of that with you. This is a learning opportunity, so feel free to stop and start the video and have your Chromebook with you to learn and explore together. So before I begin, I'd like to do our land acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional or ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I also acknowledge that people of African descent have been in Nova Scotia for over 400 years, and we honor and offer gratitude to those ancestors of African descent who came before us onto this land. So there is a lot of technology out there that can support your emerging multilinguals and everybody in your class. It's exciting because it gives EAL students of all levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced, access to their home language to support the classroom content. It also allows them to be really active participants in their class learning and everybody. I think it needs to become a norm that students know that they can access their Chromebooks if they need to. If you're putting a resource on Chromebooks, it would be great too if you're putting it on everybody's Chromebook so that it's just a norm in your classroom and not just for a particular student. It'll complement teaching and learning. It should not be something, though, that is having the EAL student be separate from the class and that they're just using that tool on their own. What we want is assistive technology to be a complement and a tool so that students can be included and have access to learning and show what they know. They know a lot, and if they're able to use their home language, they can really show you what they know. It allows you to have quick access to visuals and diagrams, making connection to prior learning. And like I had said, it really supports everybody in your classroom. And I think when you start exploring these, you'll see that really it's a tool for all of your students and not just your multilingual students. So I'm going to look at some particular assistive technology today that are going to focus on reading and writing. Some in particular, like Google Read and Write, will be a tool that students can use for both reading web pages and also writing documents and slides. Immersive Reader is a tool that will help students read documents and web pages. Co-Writer is a tool that's for writing. Then you'll see some tools that we'll do together, such as Book Creator and Pixton, that allows students to really show what they know in creative ways. But also tools like Book Creator can be used for you to create content that will allow you to scaffold and use translation tools within your content. And then at the end, I'm going to show you two tools, Diffit and Magic School, that are AI tools that really can help you differentiate and level your reading and content. So those are some tools that we're going to look at today. You may be familiar with some, but haven't used them for EAL students in particular. So hopefully you'll get something new from this today. So I'm going to start with Google Read and Write. So Google Read and Write is an amazing tool that is great for all of your students. Students don't need permission. You don't need to access IT. It's an extension that can go on Chromebooks. It provides support for students at all levels. So those EAL students that are coming in at a beginner level, and those students that are gaining the complexity of the language at an intermediate or advanced level. So the links I have for you are websites that will allow you to look at Google Read and Write in a perspective of English language learners. So one of those links will bring you to the text help, and it'll give you suggestions for EAL of how to use those tools in Google Read and Write for EAL learners. So I recommend searching through that. Another of the link will give you some suggestions of what you can use in Google Read and Write for the different levels you have of your English language learners. So if you have some students who are coming in at the beginner level, you can use the translator tool right away, the audio maker, and the picture dictionary, which I'm going to show you. At the intermediate level, they can begin to start using text-to-speech. They can start building vocabulary and word prediction. And then at an advanced level, you can continue to use it, and they can use all of the tools and continue to use that as a way to show what they know. So what I'd like to do is we're first going to look at what you will see when you open up the Google Read and Write toolbar, and I am going to show you an example. So the tools that you have are highlighter tools, text-to-speech, so students can hear what they're seeing. There's a picture dictionary, which I love, a vocabulary list, word prediction. You can have a translator tool, which you can use along with the picture dictionary at the same time. I like this chart because it also shows you what it's supporting. So for example, we see that the picture dictionary supports vocabulary attainment, reading and interacting with the text, and perhaps editing too. You will also have Check It, so they can check their work. Audio Maker, Talk and Type is excellent. We often have students who are gaining oral skills quicker than their reading and writing skills. So this allows them to use their English skills that they've built orally, and they can show what they know or write what they know using Talk and Type. I also recommend doing a feature tour. This will give you a short video of all of those tools, which is exciting to see that they've broken it down that way. So I do recommend going on the feature tour and seeing what each looks like. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to open up a website. When you do put an extension on, you will add it to your Chrome. So you do Google Read and Write extension. And then you will, I recommend for your students that you pin all of your extensions so that they have quick access to it on the top. So I'm going to open up my Google Read and Write extension, and you can see the toolbar at the top of all of those tools we just quickly looked at. So when a student opens up a web page, they can highlight a part of it and have it read aloud by pressing the play button. They can also double-click on a vocabulary word. They can open up the picture dictionary, and they'll get a picture of the word. They can hear it. They can also open up the translator tool. I've chosen Spanish. In my settings, you can go into your settings, and there is where you can choose the language. So if your student, once it's chosen, I've chosen Spanish. Once it's chosen, that will stay in your student's account. And the extension will always be in their student account as well. So picture dictionary is really valuable. The translator tool, they can also build a vocabulary chart. So if they double click on certain words and highlight them, they can create a vocabulary chart. I'll just do a few. So this is the tool here. We're going to create a vocabulary list that will go directly into their GNES account. So they can title it. It takes a quick minute. And here you see it's created it quickly. So it gives me the word. I have the meaning. And I also have a picture. In their notes, they could translate. So they could write some notes in first language. They can translate the word as well. So that's an exciting way to build vocabulary and content. So Google Read and Write also. So I'm in my Terry Fox. Perhaps I'm writing about Terry Fox. I'll continue to use my Google Read and Write now for writing. And students will click on the tool that they would like. So if they would like predictive text, so we choose that and we can see that it's purple. So now if I'm saying Terry Fox is a Canadian hero, and I have my predictive text over here, and have the volume come up, choosing the word, and then you can choose there. So that's the predictive text feature. Students can hover over it and hear the word as well. And you can choose in your settings again, you may go into the predictive text prediction, choose how many words you'd like your student to see, perhaps only 5. Do you want it reading ahead? So you can choose all of those settings for your student, and once you've selected them, they will stay in their account. So many tools that your students can use. They can also use, as I said, this speech and text, so they can talk and type across Canada. So as you're speaking, it will come up as they're typing. So a great tool for those early learners who aren't quite ready to be doing the writing of essays and such, but can orally show what they know. So it's a really exciting tool. I do recommend that you put Google Read and Write on all of your students' accounts because it is valuable for everybody. And then it's something that is just a norm to use for all learners. And it's not, pulling them out as being different of what they're using. So that's Google Read and Write. Co-Writer is a tool that students can have put on as an extension as well. And this is a tool for writing. And it's an exciting tool because they can use translation in their Co-Writer. So if they are writing a document and they are unable to think of the word in English, but know the word in their first language, that will allow them to use translation where they can write in their first language, and Co-Writer will give them the predictive word that they need in English. So I'm going to go back to my Terry Fox document. I'm going to close up Google Read and Write. Students can use both at the same time. Oops. Just picking up my voice there. So I am going to go into my Co-Writer extension. Students go in through their Google account. Once they've opened it, it will be open. And then I'm going to go back to my Terry Fox. So as you see, just like Google Read and Write, a predictive box comes up, but then also a translation option. So in my settings again,
translate writing from French.
So once you go into your settings, into your Co-Writer, so you go into options, you will choose the language for your student. So I've chosen French. Once you've chosen the language, then it will stay in their account. I go back to my document and I'm going to start a new sentence. Terry Fox ran across.
Across.
If I don't know the word for the, for example, in French, and I go le, and I use my translator, it will give me the option.
Translate writing from French into English.
And it'll know that I want to say the, because I've said the, le, sorry. So it's a great tool where they can use their first language in their writing, and also in their text-to-speech, so they can also say what they want to share. The other neat thing about Co-Writer is that if they are writing about a certain topic, for example, Terry Fox, you can go into your Co-Writer account, or they can, and you can create a topic for your predictive text box from the Terry Fox page. So now, because I've clicked that, when I go back into my document, it will now know, for example, Terry Fox ran across, it's already knows the country.
The country.
Because I've taken my web page and it's taken the information Co-Writer has, and it can create vocabulary either from a selected text or from the web page. So that's very helpful when students are doing research projects, for example, or content writing, and it will put that in their predictive text. So that is a great feature of Co-Writer. The next tool I'd like to look at is Immersive Reader. And this is a tool for reading, not for writing. So it gives visual vocabulary. So instantly the words will come up with a picture representation along with a translation. So it's very quick. They can also hear the text read aloud to them, and also a syllable breakdown, which improves their readability and pronunciation when they are reading themselves. So I am going to show you this one with the Terry Fox, again, webpage. So as you can see, I have all of my extensions up at the top because I've pinned them. So if I go into my immersive reader, and I can highlight a section. So I'll highlight the first section, and it's going to read a selection for me. And you can see that it is now there, spaced out. So a little bit, so readability is better for students. If we go into this icon here, I can translate. I have a picture dictionary. I am going to choose Arabic. So now if I click on a word, so if I click on the word Canadian, it will give me the word. It will also give me it in Arabic. If I click on athlete, oh, I haven't turned on my picture dictionaries. We'll turn that on. And there we go, born. So I can hear the word born in English. I can hear it in Arabic, and a picture. Legs, and again. So a great tool for using first language. I can translate the document also in its entirety. We can also highlight certain parts of speech. So I can highlight the nouns or the verbs. I can also break it down into syllables. So when students are reading it themselves, they can see it broken down into syllables. And then this tool here, we can play it and it will be read to them and highlighted. So another great tool to support students in reading. So any content that you have can be put in, and students can use Immersive Reader to support their reading and use first language to help them access content. Immersive Reader, again, just an extension that you put on. So you Google read an immersive extension for Chrome, and then you will add that to your computer and then pin them at the top. So that is Immersive Reader. Google Translate, yes, it's a web page that you can use, but it's also an extension that you can have your students add. So you add it and it's put into their GNSPES account, and it will allow them to translate a document in first language quite quickly. So if I open a web page and I open up my Google extension, Translate extension, I can translate the page into the languages of Google Translate. So if I translate it to Portuguese, it will translate to Portuguese, and then you can go back and forth to the original. So they can be reading the English and quickly translate back to first language. So it's just a nice quick extension for web pages when students are using. So I do like that as an extension along with the actual web page of Google Translate. They can also use the keyboard in their first language when they open up Google Translate as an extension and switch between languages. So a great tool. Also a great tool for you to use if you are sending home information to parents. You can quickly translate it as well. So now I am going to share Book Creator, which I'm really excited about, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with. I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to share my tab. So give me 1 minute here so that I can share Book Creator with volume, because it is quite an exciting one, and it's good for you to be able to have sound. So this is Book Creator. And I really recommend that you get yourself a book creator account with HRCE. You go through Tilt, and I'm sure with other regions, you'll be able to access a premium version of Book Creator. So the premium version has some really exciting translation tools. So I'm going to show you that when you create a library, and you have a number of books, whether you created them or found them and added them to your library, one of the very first things you can do is you can translate a whole book. So you can use it for content or for students to create their own books to show what they know. So I'm going to go back to my library. So this icon here allows you to translate books. Oh, let's see, go in. If they need the whole book translated. This is a science journal that I had found online and added to my library collection. This little yellow edition button up here, this plus one, will allow you to create text, record yourself with a video, and record your voice. And all of it can be translated, which is really exciting. So I'm going to show you a few features here. So I added my voice. So I went into record and I recorded my voice here. And once it's recorded and I click on my audio icon, I can then go to what they call the inspector. So this can be then translated. So if I choose the translate button, oh, my co-writer is still on. Let's turn that off. I'm going to choose Arabic, and you can choose the voice you would like. And I am going to translate mine. So I'm going to have you listen to mine first. A liquid can take any shape in any container. And then I can have it translated. So if we play that.
يمكن للسائل أن يأخذ أي شكل في أي حاوية.
So it's translated quickly, so students can use their first language for comprehension. You can add a recording voice anywhere within your book. So if I record my voice again, and I can explain what I'm wanting to share through content and have it translated. So that's quite exciting. Text you can also add. So I had added the word juice here, and I had written the text. You can have that translated to all of these languages. And the student can learn to translate themselves as well so that they can independently translate things. So I have translated the word juice into Arabic. So I added a video earlier, and I wanted to show you how you can also translate your videos. And you can use that as a teaching tool or a welcoming book, getting to know you, biographies, so many things you can do with Book Creator. So I created this video. And once I click on my video, which I had done with camera, I can then go into that inspector. So I click on my video, I go into that inspector, and I can add captions to my video, which I'll do, and it will generate automatically. So we're going to take a minute where the captions are then generated, and then you can translate the captions, which is quite exciting. And then students have access to your video and can use first language. As it's generating, Book Creator sometimes is thought as just a tool where students are creating books themselves. But it can be used for content. You can create math booklets. You can use it as a teaching tool in place of slides. You can also use it to have students show what they know in content. So you can create a book where they can then manipulate the book and circle answers and use the pen. Oh, there we go. So my video said, let's think about my coffee. Is my coffee a solid, a liquid, or a gas? So I'm done that. I'm happy with those. I can add new ones if I wish. So I say that I'm done. And then I can translate those captions. So if I choose that in Arabic and I translate my captions, And then if I play my video, here's hoping that works. Let's think about my coffee. Is my coffee a solid, liquid, or gas? So you saw the captions, and then let's see. Oh, we need to click the Arabic. So let's choose that, set that as the default. And now let's try that again. Let's think about my coffee. And there you can my coffee a solid, Arabic, liquid, or gas? And there you see the Arabic caption. So it's just such great access for kids to be able to use first language, especially in the beginning when they are new to us and new to learning the language. Even if they are not reading in first language, so many of these tools allow them to use their oral comprehension and listening comprehension. So it's really an exciting way to include students in everything we're doing. So again, this plus sign has you being able to record in text. The pen option allows you to, oops, apologies there, it's not opening. The pen option allows you to be able to create books where then students, you can then create copies for students, and then they can use their pen to circle answers, draw pictures. This is a very fun feature where if you're not a very good drawer, it will guess what you're drawing and it will put it in. So that's a cool one if you'd like to play with that. So a lot of ways that students can access and show what they know. It's very exciting. I do suggest that you play with Book Creator. The summer is a great opportunity to play with technology. Lots of different books. They're all about me journals that you can have at the beginning of the year. I'll quickly show you that because it's a great one that I just copied and added to my library. So introduce yourself. I added a video. The kids can do that. How are you feeling? You can click on each one, use your voice, translate, record. They can record in first language and then translate it back to English. So really exciting things with Book Creator that I really suggest you explore. So now I'd like to share Pixton, which is another fabulous tool that students can show what they know. Often students get quite overwhelmed with having to write a document. So if you think about a student and they need to write a story, and there's so much language involved, where a storyboard and comic allows them to create settings and characters visually. They can use speech to text in Pixton, and they can do a lot of vocabulary building as well. So I'm going to show you my Pixton account. It is through your GNSPES. So once you have accessed a subscription through Tilt, if you're HRCE, then your account will be in your GNSPES, and you can create classrooms. So your students are within your classroom and also through their GNSPES. So when students create a comic, they are going to have a wealth of backgrounds to create their settings. So again, they can do a little bit of using graphic organizers before and do some planning, which is really exciting. They could plan their storyboard with some vocabulary and pictures. So they can create a lot of different settings. They have characters they can have access to, a wealth of characters depending on their story, real. So they can also start creating speech. They can use, so I'm going to add a person, just add this person. They can create captions so they can tell parts of their story. So if they choose caption, they can use speech to text. So the boy went to the park. I'll just do very simple. They could do that with their voice if they wish. So they can have the caption up above their story, adding a background. So I will choose, perhaps different weather. The scene, they can choose various scenes, snowy, the boy went to the park. So then they can start adding descriptive words too. So perhaps they need to go in the wintertime or on a snowy night. then they can have their characters speaking to each other. So they can have a lot of fun with this. I recommend, using some graphic organizers for planning. And then they can go in and just add so much to their comic with regards to characters and speaking and setting. So it's really, really a fun way for students to do some writing. You can also use it for content as well. Pixton has resources within it for lesson ideas, rubrics. They have some printables where they have graphic organizers that students can use for planning before they go in. First, next, then, and last, great for sequencing. The 5-finger retail, the W's in their story, the who, what, when, and where, why. So some really great graphic organizers for students to plan. And I do find that if students know that this Pixton is coming after their planning, they're much more willing to do this planning, knowing that there's this activity afterwards. So lots of great resources within Pixton itself. And just lesson ideas, intro to comics. So some really exciting things. So you can see the different content as well that you can use Pixton to tell their story and show what they know. So again, another great tool that's available for you to explore. So the last two pieces of technology that I'd like to share are AI. So if you haven't started exploring AI, there are a lot of great tools out there with artificial intelligence that will help you differentiate quite quickly. So it's really exciting. So DIFIT is a tool for teachers, and again, through your GNESPES, that allows you to create just right reading resources. So you can take any website, web page, a piece of writing, an article, and you can differentiate it very quickly and translate it. So I am going to show you a DIFIT account, my DIFIT account. So I've taken that Terry Fox web page and I put it in my DIFIT and I asked it to differentiate it to the second grade. So you choose the grade and you just put the link in your DIFIT account. And once you've done that, it's going to generate it. You can do that with YouTube videos, web pages, articles. If it's in your GNESPES, you can just pop it in there if it's a document. So it's adapted it and it's written the sentences in simple sentence, sort of, subject, verb, object. It also creates a summary, a vocabulary word list that you can use in combination with your Google Read and Write, for example, and you can translate. So we can choose a language to have it translated. So we'll do French, we'll translate that. It will generate that for you and will give you a level. So if you think about at the junior high level and you have an article that you want your students to read and to work with, then you can put that in from your Google account, your GNESPES, and you can differentiate it. So that's exciting with DIFIT. So DIFIT, when you go in this page, you'll see that you can copy something and put it in. If you have an article or video that you want differentiated, or a text. So if you have an article that you'd like, or a page from a book. So that's really exciting. And you can choose the grade level and the language. So DIFIT allows you to differentiate resources. I think a valuable tool, especially at the junior high and high school level. And then we have Magic School, which is also an artificial intelligence tool. Magic School, again, allows you to level texts. You can create some decodable texts if you're doing that for your younger learners, summarize texts, generate vocabulary. You can also use it to communicate with families. So when you go into your Magic School account, you are going to see a wealth of tools. So for example, you can rewrite any text that you put in. You can email families. So you can generate an email and translate it into multiple languages. You can also create vocabulary list generator for your EAL students. So just, a wealth of choices that are out there to make our content accessible for our learners. So again, another one that, just go in and explore. So many things in there, tools that will help you. So I really hope that you take some time, and I'm going to go back to that first page. I really do hope you take some time to explore all of these tools. It can be a little bit overwhelming, but take one or two. There are so many YouTube tutorials as well online. Just go through it, explore yourself, have some fun with it. I do really recommend Book Creator. I really think that's a tool that we all should get to learn to use. And I truly think that all students should have Google Read and Write, Co-Writer and Immersive Reader as extensions on their Chromebooks. And again, please make that the norm for your class and make it a norm for your students to use these tools independently. We really want our EAL learners gaining independence and knowing the tools they can use to help them access. And, stay in touch with your EAL teacher as well. And together we can be in the classroom and using a lot of these Tier 1 supports to help students be included in their learning. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you got something from this PD and that you do some tech exploring over the summer holidays.